I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So now we are in our first chapter of Ezekiel. Ezekiel sees in vision 4 living creatures, 4 wheels, and the glory of God on his throne. Now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Kibar, that the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. In the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of King Jehoiakim's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of Chaldeans by the river Kibar, and the hand of the Lord was there upon him. We got a lot of noisy birds. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, and every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and their sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they 4 had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side. And they 4 had the face of an ox on the left. They 4 also had the face of an eagle. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. 2 wings of every one were joined one to another, and 2 covered their bodies, and they went every one straight forward, whither the Spirit was to go. They went, and they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coal of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. What? This is just weird. What is it? 4 living creatures. They had 4 wings. 2 of their wings covered their feet. 2 of the wings were stretched out and attached, so they're kind of like in a circle. They're all connected to it together. Their feet were like calves' feet, it says. In other words, they had hooves. They had 4 faces. The front of them was the face of a man. The back was an eagle. On the right was a lion, and on the left was an ox. I find that interesting. Man, wild beasts, domesticated beasts, and the birds are all represented here. We don't have the fish or the creeping, crawling things, but it's interesting that we have, those are also the animals, I believe, that are represented in John's vision in Revelation. But what are these things? Now, Joseph Smith did tell us that whenever we see an image of an animal, an image of a beast, it represents earthly kingdoms. And we could say that the term likeness means that these are images, but these are moving around, and they go straight. They don't turn. They just zoom, and they go like lightning. Zap, zoop, that. It's all just weird. Verse 15. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. And they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the Spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. When they went, these went, and when they stood, these stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creatures was as the color of the terrible crystal, stretched forth over their heads above. And under the firmament were the wings, straight, the one toward the other. Every one had 2, which covered on this side, and every one had 2, which covered on that side their bodies. And when they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of a great waters, as the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech, as the noise of an host. When they stood, they let down their wings, And there was a voice from the firmament that went over the heads when they stood, and had let down their wings. So we got 4 wheels as well that seem to be just there next to each one. Each of these creatures has a wheel sitting next to it. And the spirit is in the wheel, not in the creature. And so the wheel moves around. It's a wheel inside a wheel, concentric circles, whatever that means. The sky above them is like crystal. And then you hear the voice of God. This is just weirdness. I really wish we had an actual interpretation for it, because we don't. Anyways, we got 3 verses left. Verse 26. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it. From the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw, as it were, the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. So the sky is crystal. We got these 4 very weird creatures that are moving around like lightning, just zipping, boom, boom, never turning, just moving wherever they want to go. Sky is crystal above them, and above the sky is a throne of sapphire. And on that throne is God. And now God is going to speak to Ezekiel. This is one of the weirdest things ever recorded. I mean, we got some weird stuff in mythologies and stuff, but I don't think any mythology came up with anything like this. This is just weird. So we will pick this up and hear the words of God in our next video. We will see you there.